I have been working on a little bit last week, a new pose that I found that's a little challenging, but also kind of fun to play with. Something that we're fully capable of in most of our bodies. It's just a different balance and a different move than what we are used to, I think. So for some, it might be like, oh, I got this. Others, we might be really unstable, really tippy. So just knowing that, like, whatever that looks like is awesome. I'm going to say good morning really quick to Whitney and Lacey.
Morning.
Hi, you guys. Thanks for hopping on. Just make sure you guys get muted or stay muted. That would be great. All right, we are going to actually start on our backs today for our power yoga. Pull our knees into our chest. Just make a tight little ball. Draw nose up to knees. And then we're going to inhale, reach hands and legs long away from you. Let them hover above the mat. So you're in like this canoe pose. And hug knees in, nose up to knees, tight little ball. Inhale, extend, let those limbs hover. And they really can be at any height. If you need to put your legs up a little higher towards the sky for some balance or low back pain, feel free. Do a few more of those. Crunch in and extend. Try to tie this movement to your breath. Exhaling as you kind of squish in. Inhaling, lengthening, knit that low back towards the mat. All right, now put all those limbs, reach them up towards the sky. Legs are straight, arms are straight. And do opposite limbs. So right leg is gonna go down, left arm is reaching overhead. And come on back up. Do the same on the opposite side. And I really want you to notice that low back. If the low back is kind of arched, not knit down, I want that energy of your low back pushing into the ground. Really contracting those stomach muscles. Keep moving back and forth and just feel what this is like to get your abdominals waking up. Maybe one more on each side, or just pause when you're kind of even on both sides. All right, hug those knees both in again, extend out into canoe. Hug knees in, extend out to canoe. This time I want you to lift those shoulders and head up. Keep head and shoulders lifted as you reach those arms overhead. Really building some fire in our abs now. Engage through that core, keep on going. You got 3 more. Last one. Hug it in. Let's rock on up to our seated spot and through into tabletop. All right, inhale, drop belly, gaze upward. Nice stretch in those abdominals here. So pause and you can rock right to left. And then on the exhale, round spine, tuck chin into chest. Really push the tops of your feet and your palms into the ground. And do a couple more of those. Inhale, drop belly, gaze upward. And exhale, round spine. Make sure this last one really stretches out your belly as you drop. And round. All right, extend that right leg behind you. Let me turn sideways here. Left arm long so that we're in bird dog. Let's inhale and then exhale, knee to elbow. Hold here for just a couple moments. Kind of reaching across that body underneath you. Try to really plug that elbow into your knee and pause, hold here. Make sure that right foot is up off the ground. Maybe even hug that heel in towards your butt a little firmer. And now extend, lengthen. And do a couple quick ones. So we're inhaling, lengthening, exhale, knee to elbow. Pick up that pace of your breath a little bit. Make these a little quicker. And after 3, we're gonna put that foot back down into tabletop. Do the opposite side. Left leg long, right arm reaches. Hug that knee to elbow Try to get that connection and create this force between knee and elbow. Really round through that spine like a cat stretch. Try to hug heel up towards your butt. One more second. And then inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to elbow. 3 more times. Inhale and exhale. All right, back down into tabletop. Drop that belly for a good stretch. Cow belly, gaze up. Exhale, round spine. All right, for our power yoga, we have a modification I'm going to show you here for our vinyasas. We're going to extend right leg behind us and draw right knee to right elbow. So this is modification 1, down on our knees. You'll notice it when we go on a little further. And then modification 2 is you can reach that foot out towards the top edge of that mat off the right. So that leg is straight. And then when you bring it back, I want you to bring that knee towards right elbow and extend it long into bird dog. So let's try that on the opposite side just to kind of get a gauge for our bodies this morning. Extend left leg. Pick that knee and tap your elbow. You're going to straighten that leg, reach it as far forward as possible. Bring knee back to left elbow and extend. Okay, check in with your body. See how that felt on your wrists, your shoulders, your hips, everything. And then I want you to tuck your toes, lift up into plank. Take that right knee to right elbow. And then extend that foot straight. Notice it starts to get harder here. Knee to elbow again. And extend back, hover it. Then place that foot down. Let's try the opposite side. Lift it up. Knee to elbow, extend, knee back to elbow, hover that leg behind you and lower it down. Okay, lift hips up into down dog, pedal out the feet. Find any movement here that feels good to stretch out those legs. So kind of playing between those 2 variations this morning, kind of what your body needs. I want your shoulders to feel good at the end of this. I don't want us compensating into elbows or wrists or shoulders. Try to find that core strength to move. All right, bend knees, gaze forward, step to the top of your mat. Inhale, long spine, halfway lift. Exhale, bow. Grab opposite elbows here. Maybe even unlock those knees so that the hamstrings release. Head hangs heavy. And take any movements here before we start really moving into our vinyasa. If you want to walk hands over to the right to stretch, maybe over to the left. Coming back to center. Keep that spine rounded as you slowly come up to stand. Reach hands high once you get to the top. And take a back bend, cactus arms, really lift heart towards the sky. Draw elbows together, interlace fingers behind you. And open up that heart. Keep those fingers interlaced as you forward fold. Draw hands up towards the sky. And then inhale, rise back up, release hands, reach them tall, forward fold. Halfway lift, long spine. Really lengthen through that crown, out your tailbone, and bow. Bend knees, plant hands, step back to plank. Chaturanga push-up, either on your knees or just lifting up from plank, rather. Flow through up dog and down dog. All right, take right leg high. Trying this first round of knee to elbow. So variation if you need it. Right knee to right elbow. Extend that foot long. Tap the ground. Maybe try to hover it back to that elbow and 3-legged dog. Now step through with that right foot to low lunge. We're actually gonna lower down to that left knee to start and inhale, reach up. Reach those fingers tall. Bring gaze up between your hands and then cactus arms into a back bend. Interlace fingers behind you just like we did when we were standing. And we're taking a kneeling humble warrior so that right shoulder comes to the right knee or to the inside of that right knee. Reach those hands up a little higher to get into those shoulder blades. And then kind of one fell swoop up to that low lunge, hands high. Can you feel this stretch in that front left leg? If not, lunge into it a little deeper. And then hands down to the mat. Step back to three-legged dog. All right, one more set. Knee to elbow on that right side. Extend that leg. Back knee to elbow. Three-legged dog. Full down dog. All right, take a couple breaths here. Really stretch heels down towards the mat. Let's do the left side. Left leg high. Left knee to left elbow. Extend. Bring it back. Three-legged dog. Low lunge. Down to that right knee. Inhale, low crescent. Gaze up between hands. Cactus arm back bend. Interlace hands behind you. Extend those arms. Try to draw palms together. And hinge forward. Kneeling humble warrior. So if that left shoulder is kind of stuck on that left knee, bring it to the inside and hover even lower towards the ground as you reach hands up. All right, deep breath in, swoop those hands high, gaze upward, lunge deeper into that right leg if you can. And then hands down to the mat, three-legged dog. Knee to elbow on the left side. Extend that foot. Bring it back. Three-legged dog, full down dog. All right, bend knees, gaze forward, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, long spine, halfway lift. Exhale, out that mouth. All right, inhale with a flat back this time, rise tall. Cactus arms. Interlace those fingers, take your forward fold. So if hands just aren't cooperating, shoulders aren't cooperating, it's okay to grab forearms here instead of hands. But try to draw that chest forward towards the ground as you draw shoulders backwards. All right, release hands down to the mat this time. Head hangs heavy. Kind of letting things go here. All right, inhale, reach tall, stand up. And exhale, forward fold. A little bonus warming for our hamstrings. Bend knees, plant hands, step back to plank. Chaturanga push-up. Inhale, up dog. Feel front body lengthen as you gaze up. Down dog. All right, right leg high. Right knee to right elbow. Send that foot out to the side. Again, if that foot is like, trying to get it out there, think about doing it a little bit lighter. Try to hover it, even if you can't get that foot as high up towards the front of your mat. I want you to kind of hover and then bring it back. Engage that outer hip. And come back to three-legged dog. Low lunge. Keep knee lifted this time. Inhale, high crescent. Exhale, cactus arm back bend. Draw those elbows backwards. Really broaden through collarbones and chest. Interlace fingers. Drop down to that back heel. So it's moving into warrior one here for just a moment and then hinge into humble warrior. Again, right shoulder to right knee or to the inside to take this a little deeper as you reach hands up over head behind you. So from here, we're going to twist back to the ball of that back foot as you come on up into your high lunge. So release those hands, twist to the ball of that foot, gaze up. Awesome. All right, one more back bend here. Cactus arms. This time I want you to straighten your front leg in this back bend. Bend back into that knee so you're in lunge. Reach hands high, and down to the mat. Swing that leg back to three-legged dog. Knee to elbow. Extend that foot. Still doing right side. Back to elbow. Three-legged dog. Full down dog. All right, checking in with your body. Can you hold down dog here? Do you need to take child's pose before we do the left side? All right, swoop that left leg high. Knee to elbow. Extend leg. Bring it back. Three-legged dog. Low lunge. Swing on up, high lunge. Gaze up between those hands, cactus arms. Interlace fingers behind you. Stretch through that front body. Plant the back heel and humble warrior. Bring hands upward, hinge deeper at those hips. Trying to bring that nose down towards the ground. And then release the crown to the floor. One motion as you come back to the ball of that foot, release hands. Kind of this fluid movement here. Gaze up. Cactus those arms. Straighten front leg. Hold. Gonna feel that sensation. Take it back to your lunge. Reach hands high. Plant the hands and step back to plank. Or step back to three-legged dog rather. Knee to elbow. Extend, maybe hover that foot. Bring it back. Three-legged dog and then full down dog. Ground heels down to the mat. Bend knees, gaze forward, step or hop to the top of your mat. Deep breath in, halfway lift. Exhale, bow, release tension, release anything that your body's kind of building up. Find some softness. Deep breath in as you rise, reach up to stand. Cactus arm back bend. You might even play with a straight arm back bend here. As you send those hips forward. Swing arms around, interlace them behind you. Lead with that heart into a fold. Try to straighten those elbows, bring palms towards each other. Release hands down to the mat. Take an exhale out your mouth here. All right, deep breath in as you rise to stand. And that exhale releases you into a bow. Halfway lift. And bow. Bend knees, plant hands, step back to plank. Lower down, chaturanga. Deep breath in, up dog. Exhale, down dog. All right, take right leg high. Knee to elbow. You guys know why I showed you a modification earlier, right? Take that knee to elbow, extend that foot out. Bring it back to three-legged dog. Step forward to low lunge. Inhale, swoop it up, high lunge. Exhale, cactus arm. Bring those hands behind you, open up, humble warrior, so drop that back heel. hinge forward. Can you ground into that back foot a little firmer so that less weight is in that front leg? Reach hands up even higher. Deep breath in as you swoop up to high lunge. Really playing with that balance. All right, keep arms straight this time and straighten that front knee. Keep gazing up. See if you can bend that back knee, trying to tap that back knee towards the ground. That knee might not touch the ground, that's totally okay, but just get as much depth with that back knee as possible. All the while keeping that front knee straight. So moving from that hip. Bend it down. Whew. Back up and take it to low lunge. Different feeling in our bodies, right? All right, three-legged dog. Knee to elbow. Extend foot, bring it back. Three-legged dog to down dog. I love when down dog is like, oh yes, finally. Okay, that feels like a break rather than work. Release that head and neck tension. Take left leg high. Knee to elbow. Reach that foot. Beautiful, keep going. Return back to three-legged dog. Slow lunge. Deep breath in, swoop it. Cactus arms. Really drawing those elbows back. And then interlace hands. Lower heel, humble warrior. Again, let that neck fully release so that the crown of the head is pointing towards the ground. Reach hands upward. Ground into that right foot in the back, really firm into the pinky side. Deep breath in as you swing up to high crescent. All right, straighten front leg. Peek in really quick. If you're feeling really unstable, you can widen those feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. And then keeping that front leg straight, try to bend that back knee down towards the ground. Shoo. Keep those elbows really straight here. Energy lifting upwards. Straighten that front leg, return to lunge. Hands down to the mat. Step back, three-legged dog. Knee to elbow. Extend. Back. Three-legged dog. Full down dog. We're gonna hold here for about 30 seconds. So pedal it out, just take a stretch, swing hips side to side, kind of make this what your body needs right now, even if it's a glass of water. Then we're all gonna meet back in down dog. Down dog is that transition to forward fold at the top of our mat. So step, hop, however you wanna get there. Deep breath in, lengthen spine, create room for that breath. And hinge forward, flat back. Deep breath in, rise, reach up to stand. Cactus arms. Interlace fingers. So bend knees just slightly here before we take this forward fold. And then hinge at your hips. Reach hands high. And I kind of challenge you, let's bend to those elbows for a minute and roll those elbows and shoulders behind you. Create some movement and then straighten arms. See if that deepens this bend at all for you, and then you straighten those legs. So straightening doesn't mean you need to lock out those knees. It's just this energy that you ground down, lift from your feet through those hips. If you're holding tension in your jaw and shoulders, even though this is an intense stretch for our shoulders, try to ease here. All right, release those hands down to the mat. Take a couple breaths. All right, inhale to stand. So we want to take our deepest standing back bend yet. So if you need the support of your palms on your low back, if that feels good to kind of do this standing camel pose, do that. Just make sure the energy of your hips is pushing forward. So you can cactus arms, also straighten them. Whatever you're doing, I want you to think about this heart is lifting towards the sky and you're kind of lengthening that front body. Rather than collapsing into your back body, make this about as much length as you can create through that front body. Then breathe deep into that front body. Rise up. Forward fold nice and slow. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow, release. Bend knees, plant hands, step back to plank. Chaturanga flow. Up dog. And down dog. Create length by grounding those heels down. Swoop that right leg high. Knee to elbow. Extend that foot. Bring it back to three-legged dog. Use an exhale to step forward to lunge. High lunge. Swoop hands up. And exhale, cactus arms. Interlace hands behind you. Draw shoulder blades together. Plant back heel. Humble warrior. Head bows. And a one fluid movement back to high lunge. Twist onto the ball of that foot, hands reach high. All right, I'm gonna move sideways here. So we've got front leg and we wanna straighten it. Really energize into the ball of that back foot. So before we take that bent knee with the back, with that left knee, I want you to reach left arm around, big full circle and touch the back of your thigh. So hand is on the left thigh, right hand reaches up, gaze past those fingertips. Now bend that knee down towards the mat. So you're kind of leaning backwards to keep that front leg straight. Maybe looking to touch that right heel, or I'm sorry, rather the left heel. See, I get tippy too, so. We want to try to extend that left hand eventually to that back heel. You might be like, ha, you're kidding me. That's okay. We're just trying to energize those fingers towards that heel or into the back of that thigh to help us deepen our bend, because this has to be a really deep back bend. Okay, come on back up. Let's take that to low lunge with that front foot forward, right foot forward, and swing it back to three-legged dog. Either going right to down dog or take that knee to elbow. Extend that foot, awesome arms, awesome shoulders. Take it back. Everyone meets in three-legged, or rather down dog. Pausing here and just kind of centering ourselves, refocusing on our mat, on our practice. How is your body feeling right now? How's your breath and your heartbeat? Let's try the left side. Swoop that left leg high. Knee to elbow. Extend that leg. Draw it back to three-legged dog. Bring it forward, low lunge. Can you use one breath to rise, reach up? Cactus arm back bend. Bring fingers together behind you. Broaden through collars and chest. Drop back heel, humble warrior. Can you flatten that spine a little bit so that you're hinging into those hip sockets, especially that left hip socket as you ground right foot down. So lengthen from the crown of your head out that tailbone. And then just bow that head as you hinge. This is more about hip movement rather than hinging with our shoulders. One fluid motion to come up to a high crescent. Straighten front leg. Rotate right hand to touch the back of that right thigh. Gaze up at left hand and past those fingertips. Find something on the ceiling to focus on. Now bend that right knee towards the earth. Check in, keep that front leg straight. Even if you micro bend that front knee for a little stability, micro bends aren't cheating. They're actually just stabilizing. If you can, release those right fingers towards that heel. Just energetically reaching for those heels. And then come on back up. Low lunge. All right, step back, three-legged dog. You guys are doing great. Knee to elbow. Extend that foot. Come on back. Three-legged dog. Full down dog. All right, I want you to come down to child's pose. Use child's pose to stay engaged in your practice. So you're still energized, but it's also this moment to really reset our brains. We're gonna go through that exact vinyasa one more time. That's our full peak. So we kind of know where we're going. We've been there. I want you to just be curious about how you could feel things better in your body. Like, are there adjustments I'm not cueing that might be like, you know what, my body might need this. So just being curious, staying kind of focused on your body and your mind practice, because adjustments aren't always in our physical muscles, right? Sometimes it's like, maybe I just breathe here. Maybe I focus on one spot, my drishti, to balance. So being like, okay, this is gonna feel really good. I'm gonna make it feel good. Make my body love me. We're gonna force it, right? That's not yoga. Okay. So keep that curiosity as we move through this vinyasa one last time. Come on up to down dog. Ground those heels down. Our ears between those biceps, can they be? Draw navel towards your spine. Now bend knees, gaze forward, step or hop to the top of your mat. Deep breath in, flat back. Exhale, bow. Rise, reach up to stand. Cactus arm back bend, two interlacing those fingers behind you. Hinge at the hips. Let that chin tuck into your chest. Maybe a breath here. Release hands down. Deep inhale, rise, reach up to stand. Deep exhale as you fold. Step back to plank. Chaturanga push-up. Up dog. And down dog. Right leg high. Knee to elbow. Extend and tap that foot. Come on back. Low lunge. High lunge. Cactus arms. Bring that motion through to interlace fingers. Plant heel, humble warrior. Lengthen anywhere, ground into those feet. One motion to get back to high lunge. Find your drishti. Inhale, lengthen front leg. Exhale, hinge into that back knee. Swing left arm around, reach for that thigh. Find stability here. Maybe find stability by thinking about your shoulder points and your hip points, where they're at. Those 4 points squaring off to the front of the room. Maybe reach for that back heel. Maybe you feel really good just with your hand on the thigh. Again, one fluid motion, cartwheel, hands down to low lunge. 3-legged dog. Last knee to elbow on the right side for today. Extend, bring it back. Full down dog. Pause. Find breath. Release your neck muscles and shoulder muscles. Centering and really feeling balanced here in down dog. And swing that left leg high. Knee to elbow. Extend that foot. Nice, bring it back. Low lunge. Deep breath in, high lunge. Cactus arms. Bring hands behind you, interlace fingers. Straighten those elbows. Plant heel, humble warrior. Can you hinge a little closer to the ground here? And bring it back, fluid motion, high lunge. Straighten front leg, find that drishti overhead between your fingers somewhere. Hinge back into that knee. Right knee lowers towards the earth. Swing right hand around, either touch that thigh or reach for that heel. Whew. Be wobbly. And bring it back, cartwheel, hands down to low lunge. Awesome, you guys. Step back, 3-legged dog. Last knee to elbow, you've got it. Bring foot forward. Come on back. 2 full down dog. Whew. You guys are building strength this morning. And balance and focus. Getting that body really moving. All right, one last time to stand. So bend knees, gaze forward, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow. Rise, reach up to stand. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And bow. Bend knees, plant hands, plank. Chaturanga. This flow is just balancing out that body. Everyone will come to down dog. All right, if you want to play with a little hop through to get to seated, feel free. That would just be like a little bounce in your step to cross your ankles. If not, just come to seated on your mat. Legs are crossed. I'm gonna get centered here for a moment as you sit up tall. Inhale, reach hands overhead. On the exhale, right hand plants as you take a side stretch. Stay stretching here, release that left foot, extend it out to the side. Come back to center, tuck that left foot back in. Hands down by your sides, put that right foot in front. Inhale, reach hands high. Exhale, left hand down, side stretch. Extend, release that right foot out to the side. Stretch even deeper down through that side body. Come back to center, tuck that foot back in. Deep breath, reach up. And exhale, fold forward. Head bows. So kind of release into this stretch. Let your body fall into your lap. It's kind of this moment of just letting go. Letting your body find a stretch with ease rather than kind of forcing it into a stretch here. Come back upright. Let's put that other foot in front. And same forward fold, release down into your lap here. All right, sit upright, extend both legs long out in front of you, fold into your lap again. And not making anything too forced. Let your body cool and ease into stretching here. Tuck chin into chest. Fold a little deeper. Think about that cat stretch in your spine, and can you create that maybe holding on to your ankles or feet or shins? Round through that spine, belly button towards your navel, or both. Of course it's towards your navel, but towards your spine. Keep that spine rounded as you slowly lower down to your back. I'm gonna bring those feet closer to us. Let's do the opposite of that forward fold into a bridge here. So feet are planted shoulder width apart, as close to you as you can get them. Hands down to the mat, lift hips up, stretch that front body. Any variation here for bridge where you interlace fingers, you can bring hands underneath your hips. Whatever feels good here. Breathe into that front body, just like we did for that deep standing camel pose. All right, release, hips down to the mat. Once your spine is kind of feeling good, you can pull knees into chest. Take about a 15-second twist over to the right. So drop knees over to the right, gaze off to the left. In any version of a twist here is amazing. So your variation is great. Before we move, take a deep inhale and a slow exhale here. Back to center. Twisting off to the left. Extend right arm, gaze out over the right hand. Just feeling how your body responds to this twist. All right, one more time before we move. Deep breath, deepest breath maybe you've taken today. Slow, controlled exhale. Come on back to center. Last knees to nose, tight little ball. And then extend out into Shavasana. As you just settle in, this final little pause here before we go on with our day. Maybe giving yourself this little smile in Shavasana, feeling good about what we've already accomplished today. And then moving your way to seated spot on your mat. You can roll off to the side. You can rock and roll. However you're kind of feeling you want to get there. Once you're seated, again, just finding a little focus here to sense our body and breath, our mind. Taking this deep inhale, reaching out and up overhead, uniting it all together. Bringing hands down to your heart, head bows. Yes, thanks so much for joining me on this Tuesday morning. I hope you have an amazing day. Namaste.